Hello, everybody. This is Earl Purdy. I want to welcome you to Facebook Live. And this is Hardcore Course in Miracles. And it's good to be here with you. I'm going to get this up on my app so that I can follow this also and and make sure that you're able to hear me, because the ego has been messing with us really, really nicely, trying to keep us from hearing what it is that we're supposed to talk about tonight. Yeah, so is that better? I hope that's better. The Holy Spirit was telling me a couple of things I could do to make it better. So I hope that is indeed what is going on right now. So it's great to be back. And, when you really, one of the things that we got to realize is that as long as we are in this experience, Course in Miracles students, then we're going to have stuff come up that's going to be opposite to what we might want it to be, right? And so what the Course in Miracles is doing, and I'm going to emphasize this more and more. I've been teaching the Course in Miracles and working with the Course in Miracles, and I'm obsessed with the Course in Miracles. I don't know how much time everybody else spends in the Course in Miracles, but I studied the Course in Miracles for hours every day. It's the first thing I do in the morning. I listen back to one of my classes. I do my workbook lesson. I try to do a chapter of the Course in Miracles a day, and then I apply whatever it is that the Course in Miracles is saying to whatever comes up during the day. Because if you don't practice it, if you don't use the ideas cannot show you that the ideas are true. So it's not just enough to say, if you're a Course in Miracles student, say, I'm a Course in Miracles student, and you don't actually read it and study it and remember it and apply it, because you can't get the result if you don't actually do what you're being told. You're totally completely innocent, but I just want to remind you that the Course in Miracles, the key to being successful with the Course in Miracles is not trying to analyze it and understand it. The key to it is to remember the instructions that the Course in Miracles is giving us, because it's giving us new ways of looking at and new ways of interpreting what's happening to us in our personal experience. If there's just one lesson in the Course in Miracles that I would like you to remember, it's lesson 2. And lesson 2 is, I give everything I see all the meaning that it has for me. I give everything I see all the meaning that it has for me. Okay? So how does that work? It works this way. If something is going on in my life that's upsetting me, what's upsetting me is the way I'm interpreting it and the meaning that I'm giving it. And that meaning that I'm giving it is generating the feeling that I have. And I like to use regular day-to-day examples. I know you all, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad thanks for sticking it out with me and not letting the ego keep us from going ahead and doing this, because it's going to happen from time to time. And that's what I'm talking about right now. Studying the Course in Miracles does not mean that things are not going to come up in your experience that you can use to upset yourself with, okay? What it's saying is, the way I interpreted it is going to determine how I feel. If I look at it like, you didn't smile at me today, and then I say to myself, you didn't smile at me today, that means you don't like me. And since I've given the meaning that you don't like me, then I feel bad about that, or I get upset about that. Now notice my getting upset. Why did I get upset? I got upset because I told myself, you're not smiling meant that you didn't like me. You might not have been smiling because you were thinking about something that happened before you walked into the room, or you have some issue that you're dealing with. You're not smiling might not have anything to do with me whatsoever. But I gave you a not smiling the meaning that you don't like me. And so now I'm getting upset about it. So really, the person not smiling, that was not what upset me. What upset me was I told myself that it meant you didn't like me. So it was the what? It was the meaning that I gave it that determined how I feel. If you don't remember anything else I'll say it again. If you don't remember anything else, try to remember that your feelings are coming from your beliefs. Your feelings are coming from the meaning that you're giving things. Your feelings are coming from the interpretations that you're giving things. You know, one person has a breakup in their relationship and the partner leaves and they go, oh, that's the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm so glad that person is gone and out of my life. I wasn't doing anything but giving myself a lot of pain and conflict. Bye-bye. I'm so glad you're gone. And then another person may leave another person's experience and that person goes, oh, that's the most devastating thing that ever happened to me. I can't believe that they're gone. I don't know how I'm going to live without them. Notice the same thing happened in both cases. The person's partner left. One person was ecstatic about it and the other person was devastated. Same event, partner left. So what is it that determined the way that they felt? What they were telling themselves about it. So all of your feelings are coming from what you're telling yourself. All of your feelings are coming from what you're telling yourself. All of your feelings are coming from what you're telling yourself. And they are not coming from the outside situation. So that's what the Course means when it says, I am giving everything I see all the meaning that it has for me. Okay, I want to tell you that. So the Course in Miracles is saying, then when you're upset, tell yourself, I'm giving this all the meaning that it has for me. I'm giving this situation all the meaning that it has for me. So I need to give this situation a different meaning. And if I give this situation or this person or this circumstance a different meaning, then I will feel better if I give it a meaning that makes me feel better. That's the key to happiness. The key to happiness is not, I repeat, according to the Course in Miracles, the key to happiness is not constantly telling yourself, if something or someone outside of myself were different, then I would be happy. Your happiness has nothing to do with someone being different in order for you to be happy. Your happiness is going to come from what you are telling yourself. And the Course in Miracles workbook, the Course in Miracles workbook is telling you what you should tell yourself so that you can give yourself more peace, so that you can undo your erroneous ways of looking and feeling, so that you can finally be happy. That is what the whole Course in Miracles is about. That's why I tell people all the time, it's not about trying to analyze the Course in Miracles and understand the Course in Miracles. It's really about let me remember what it's saying and let me practice applying what it's telling me to tell myself in every situation that comes up so that I can feel more peace. And if I have peace, I can hear the voice of God. I can hear the voice of the Holy Spirit. I can hear the voice of my essence. I can hear the voice of my divine self. Whatever name or description that you need to use for the higher power. Personally, I just like the word God. Some people have a problem with God, then you use whatever you need to use. Whether you say higher power, spirit, universe, love, it's all good, okay? I'm going to do a section. Oh yeah, the Course in Miracles says, remember only this. This is the instruction from the Course in Miracles itself, if you're going to study it. And this Thursday hardcore class is for people who want to study A Course in Miracles and take advantage of my 40 plus years of studying it and teaching it, okay? This is what this is for. So if you're really studying it and you want to study it and you want to get a better experience of it, then that's what I'm here. That's what I'm here to do. You know, and please let me be the one teaching the class. Okay? All right? Let me be the one to sharing this teaching, okay? What we want to do is we want to go through this section that we're going through right now. And that section is going to be the happy dream. And the happy dream is on page 382 in the Course in Miracles text. Chapter 18, section 5, page 382. It's called the happy dream. It's called the happy dream. And so the Course in Miracles is saying to us that if you want to learn the Course in Miracles, what you should do is remember that you don't have to believe it, you don't have to accept it, you don't have to welcome it. Some of the ideas you may actively resist, some of the ideas you will find hard to believe, some of the ideas you will find quite startling. You are not asked to judge the ideas at all. You're not being asked to analyze the ideas at all. It's the use of the ideas that will give the ideas meaning to you and will show you that they are true. This is what the Course in Miracles says. This is what the Course in Miracles says in the introduction to the workbook, which is really telling you the attitude that you need to have when you're studying the Course. Okay, so we're going to be on page 382 in the Foundation for Inner Peace version of A Course in Miracles. The text, it's called The Happy Dream. I'm going to give you some of the Course in Miracles definitions of the terms that it uses. The Course in Miracles describes the dream as the illusion. It describes the dream as that which is not real, which means that which does not last, which means that which is not permanent. It means this experience we're having right now, thinking we're separate in the body. The Course in Miracles calls that a dream because it's not our reality. Because in our reality, we are only spirit. And in our reality, there is only that which is eternal and never ends. So in reality, everything lasts forever in love and joy. In the dream, which is that which is not reality, we have fear, anger, guilt, conflict. Things don't last, and things change unexpectedly. In the Course in Miracles, we left off last week at paragraph 3. And in paragraph 3, it's going to be on page 383. Paragraph 3 on page 383. And the Course in Miracles says, do me slowly. Do me slowly. So I'm much more interested in us remembering, nice palm of my hand, right? With the Course in Miracles, I'm much more interested in us remembering what it's saying than being able to understand every bit of it. So we're going to start with paragraph 3. It says, through your holy relationship. That means the Course is only talking about love or fear. Do you know that it says what happens through your holy relationship? A holy relationship is a relationship where you are reinforcing the idea of each other's innocence. A special relationship is just a relationship that you are reinforcing each other's sense of guilt. That's it. A holy relationship is a relationship based on the idea of love and innocence. A special relationship, an unholy relationship, is a relationship that's based on the idea that guilt and fear are real. So a special relationship is a relationship where the love that you're giving each other is unlike the love of God. And the love of God does not condemn. The love of God does not blame. The love of God does not attack. So a holy relationship is a relationship that you are using to remember the truth in. A holy relationship is a relationship in which you are recognizing each other's sinlessness and guiltlessness. So in a real relationship, all you are doing is reinforcing each other's innocence and reminding each other of how precious you are, how appreciated you are, how divine you are. Okay? Don't complicate it. A holy relationship is a loving relationship, and a special relationship is a relationship that has some form of fear and guilt in it. You know, in one minute you're loving each other, so you say, and the next minute you're upset with each other about something and blaming and projecting and being angry because the other person isn't reflecting back to you your script. So the Course in Miracles is saying to us that through our holy relationship that's going to be reborn and blessed in every loving instant you don't arrange, thousands will rise to love, which is heaven, with you. So what is a holy relationship? It's a relationship that's reborn and a relationship that's blessed in every innocent, loving instant that you don't arrange. So the Course in Miracles, do you know that it's telling us that actually the relationship that's going to be most satisfying is going to be a relationship that the Holy Spirit, the loving right mind, the Spirit arranges. And when you allow yourself to have a holy relationship, a relationship that's not based on attack and guilt and grievances, he says, then thousands will rise to heaven with you. Do you know that the Course in Miracles says heaven is perfect joy, complete joy, that heaven is perfect oneness, our reality. Our reality, do you know that our reality is so beautiful? Our reality is so loving that the Course in Miracles calls it heaven. So when it says heaven, it's talking about our reality, where we really came from. And you didn't come from earth. You are not a body. You are a spiritual being. And you are a spiritual being having a human experience. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. And you're here to remember your true spiritual identity. And everything that you're experiencing in your life right now is something that's either helping you remember that you are loved and loving and a spiritual being, or what you are experiencing right now is making you forget that you are an immortal, eternal spiritual being. Those are the only two things that's happening right now. You're either using what's happening in your life to remember the truth, or you're using what's happening in your life right now to forget the truth. So can you plan for this? Can you plan how you're going to have a relationship that thousands upon thousands wake up with you and rise to heaven with you? Can you prepare yourself for such a function? Yeah, it's possible. It's possible for you to have a relationship that's so loving that you didn't arrange, that thousands will rise and wake up and go to heaven with you. And the reason why it's possible for you to have that loving relationship, that thousands upon thousands wake up with you and go to heaven with you, it's because God wills it. Love wills it. So anything that God wills, anything that love wills, is possible. And God is love. God is love. You have to let go of that perception that God condemns, that our Creator condemns, that our Creator punishes, that our Creator would take anything from us. Our Creator is completely, totally, unconditionally powerful and loving. You must let go of those fearful, erroneous ideas that you might have learned about God when you were a child, or depending on what your religious or spiritual background is. The Course in Miracles said God wills it and God will not change God's mind about it. So the means and the purpose both belong to God. The purpose, which is your awakening and your love and your peace, and the means, which is the way you're going to achieve that, belongs to God. You are not going to save yourself. You are not going to make yourself happy. You are not going to make yourself permanently happy. The Creator will make you permanently happy. A happiness that does not end, a happiness that does not come and go. Remember, from a Course perspective, anything that is real is something that is eternal and something that is permanent. And anything that is unreal is something that is temporary, that goes up and down, and you can't depend on it. So fear and love, those are the only two things that we ever experience. We either are experiencing separation or we are experiencing oneness. So you have accepted the purpose. Do you know that you have accepted the purpose? You've accepted the purpose of love. You've accepted the purpose of love. The other, what is the other? The means will be provided. So you've accepted God's purpose, which is forgiveness, which is love, And the way to achieve that forgiveness, the way to achieve that love, the way to achieve that peace is going to be provided. The means are going to be provided. Now, do you know that to have a purpose of having true love and true peace and true happiness, to have that purpose without the means to achieve that purpose, it's inconceivable that you could have the purpose of love and the purpose of joy and the purpose of oneness and the means not be provided. But God will provide the means for you to achieve happiness. Spirit will provide the means for you to experience true love. You are not going to provide the means. You are not going to provide the means. The Creator, God, Spirit, is going to provide the means. So yes, the goal is for you to be permanently happy and peaceful and loving. But the Course in Miracles is saying, you ain't going to be the one, no. You're not going to be the one that comes up with the way for you to be permanently happy because you didn't create yourself. He says, the most that we can do is create temporary happiness. Happiness that depends on outer things going the way that we want it to go. And then the minute that things don't go the way that we want them to go, then we get upset and angry. So we're happy when things go the way we think we want them to go. And then we're unhappy when things are not going the way we want them to go. It's not, and the Course in Miracles says, that is not true peace. That is not true love. That is not true happiness. That the level of permanent joy and ever-increasing happiness that the Course in Miracles promises, you can't provide those means. That your Creator provides those means. And those means are provided in the Course in Miracles itself. Often people ask me, well, how do I do that? Read the book, study the book, read the book, study the book, remember the book, read what the book says, study what the book says, remember what the book says, and do the workbook lessons and apply the workbook lessons to the day-to-day things that you are experiencing. That's how you get the joy and the happiness that the Course in Miracles describes. It's going to come through the personal study of the material and remembering it. And you won't remember it if you don't keep telling yourself what it's saying over and over again. So how do you get God to provide the means for your happiness and peace? How do you get the Holy Spirit to provide the means for your happiness and peace? The Holy Spirit will provide the means to anyone who shares His purpose. So all you have to do is say, my purpose is love, my purpose is forgiveness, my purpose is joy, my purpose is oneness. And if you say that, then you are sharing God's purpose. You are sharing the purpose of love. So if you have that purpose, the Course just said, God will provide the means to anyone who shares God's purpose. Don't make it complicated. This is not complicated. The Course in Miracles says you can have a loving, holy, sane relationship. And through your loving, holy, sane relationship, thousands upon thousands can rise to love in heaven with you. But you are not going to be the one who arranges that love. It's going to be Holy Spirit that arranges that love. God can provide you with the means to have that peace and love, and God will not change God's mind about it. The way to accomplish your happiness and your purpose of happiness both belong to God. You've accepted the purpose of your love and happiness. The means to achieve your love and happiness will be provided. Because there's no way you could have the purpose of love and oneness and joining and the means to achieve that be inconceivable. God is going to provide the way if you share the purpose of love, the purpose of forgiveness, the purpose of happiness, and the purpose of oneness, and the purpose of joining. If you share that purpose, the way for you to have that happiness is going to be provided. I'm repeating this over and over again because I'm the remembering coach. Do you know that one of the biggest challenges with A Course in Miracles is that people read it, they study it, and then they forget what they read and studied, and they start making up their own interpretations of what it's saying. So happy dreams come true. Do you know why happy dreams come true? happy dreams come true because they are dreams, not because they're dreams. Happy dreams come true not because they are dreams, but because they're happy. And do you know that the Course says the time when you are dealing with what's true, when you are dealing with what is real, then you can tell because you will be happy. You will be peaceful. So what's real is the happiness. What's real is the love. And the form that it comes in constantly changes. The forms that your happiness comes in, that constantly changes. So the form is the dream. The form is what is not real because the form constantly changes. The happiness that you feel, that's real. So that's what makes a happy dream come true. It's because you're happy. And so anything that's truly happy is something that is truly loving. Do you know the Course teaches that God being love is also happiness? That's one of the Course in Miracles definitions of love and God is happiness. So a happy dream, a happy life is a loving life. So if you're having a happy dream, if you're having a happy physical experience, which is the dream, the message of the happy dream is thy will be done and not I want it otherwise. What does that mean? See, when you wake up spiritually after you get through trying all the things that you think that you can do to make yourself happy, and you notice that the happiness that you've been giving yourself, doesn't last permanently and that it constantly changes, you're going to get to the point on your spiritual path that all you say is, God, I want your will to be done. Higher power, I want your will to be done. Love, I want your will to be done in my life. My Creator, I know you know the means for me to truly have happiness and joy and love because you know everything and you created me. So I am now smart enough to say, I want your will to be done because I know your will is that I have love and happiness. That is what my Creator wills for me. That is what your Creator wills for you. So the message of a happy experience, a truly happy experience, the message of a truly happy experience is thy will be done, thy will be done, thy will be done, thy will be done. I went to the dentist today to have my body's teeth cleaned and worked on. And so speaking is a little weird right now. So I'll say it again. When you wake up and you really become a truly evolving spiritual being, and you're starting to wake up to your true identity, you can tell. Because the more you're waking up spiritually, the more you're going to want your Creator's will to be done more than you're going to want your will to be done. Because you come to the realization that you've never been able to make yourself permanently happy, and you've never been able to make yourself completely satisfied. When I say completely satisfied, I'm not talking about a satisfaction that lasts for a few hours or a few days or a few weeks. We're talking about a satisfaction that only increases, a satisfaction that never ends. That's what the Course in Miracles is for. The Course in Miracles is about removing every block in your thinking that keeps you from letting love, God, and happiness come through. That's what the workbook does. So how that's going to be accomplished, it's impossible for you to understand. The alignment of the means, how I'm going to be permanently happy with the purpose, which is being constantly, permanently in peace and oneness and happiness. The Course says, don't you know that's an understanding impossible for you to understand? There are going to be things you don't understand. You'll never understand God. You'll never understand the infinite at this level, at the physical body level. Let it go. There are some things you just won't understand, but that does not mean that that thing cannot happen. Just because you don't understand how to have permanent joy and happiness and sane, loving relationships, that doesn't mean that you can't have permanent happiness and sane, loving relationships. You just need to realize that you are not going to be able to come up with the way to do that, but within the teachings of A Course in Miracles, it explains to you exactly what you need to think and how you need to see things in order to allow that happiness to occur. So you don't have to make up your path. You don't have to make up the way to happiness. It's in the book. 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 Course in Miracles student. It's in the book, but you got to read the book. You got to read the book. You got to remember the book. You got to do the workbook lessons. You got to apply the workbook lessons. Now, what is it that the Course in Miracles says that you don't even realize? Right there in paragraph 4, chapter 18, section 5, paragraph 4, it says, you don't even realize that you have accepted, you don't even realize that you have accepted the Holy Spirit's purpose as your own. You don't even realize that you have accepted love's purpose. You've accepted love's purpose as your own, as your own. This is Earl Purdy. I want to welcome you to Facebook Live. I want to welcome you to hearing this. You don't even realize that you have accepted love's purpose, God's purpose as your purpose. And since you don't know that you've accepted God's purpose as your purpose, he says, you will merely bring unholy means to its accomplishment. Now, what does that mean? You will merely bring fearful, guilty means to its accomplishment. The Course in Miracles says over and over again that there's a part of our mind that believes in guilt and that it thinks it can get things accomplished through anger and guilt. So I think I'm going to get love through letting somebody know how angry and upset I am with them. And if I let you know how angry and upset I am with you, then you're going to love me more. If I keep going off on you, then that's going to make you respect me and love me more. That would be an unholy means to the accomplishment of love. Unholy means unreal. Unholy means guilty, fearful. The Course in Miracles is always talking about love or fear. Do you know just a little faith? That's all that's needed to change the purpose. That's all you have to do is have a little faith. That's all that's required for God to give you the means and for you to use the means to be happy. I don't care what's happening in your life right now. Today was a particularly challenging day for me in many ways. And the Course in Miracles has taught me that when I feel the challenge of the ego or any sadness or fear or upset, that I should not suppress it. In the workbook, he says many, many times, he tells you to feel those feelings. Tell yourself what you're feeling. Don't hold it back. But then he tells you that you should finish it by saying, maybe I'm never upset for the reason I think, or I'm entitled to miracles, or let miracles replace all grievances, or that tell myself forgiveness is the key to happiness. See, we do part one. We'll express our dissatisfaction and unhappiness about something. But what the Course in Miracles is saying, and then you need to follow it up with what the Course in Miracles teaches you to tell yourself when you're upset. And this is what it's saying right here. Do you know it's no dream to love your brother as yourself? It's not an illusion for me to believe I could love you as myself. And it's not a dream to believe I can have a holy, healing, perfect, sane, loving, fulfilling relationship. That's not a dream. All that remains of dreams within the relationships that you have is that your relationships are still special relationships. We have special relationships. The special relationship is a relationship where you single out someone for your attention to the exclusion of others. A special relationship is a relationship of exclusion that you are focused in and you're giving your attention to that one person. And so the Course in Miracles says that a special relationship is a dream, because the truth is all of our relationships are equally valuable. All of our relationships are equally important. The truth is love includes everyone, and real love includes everyone equally. That's a holy relationship. That's a real relationship. But we are not in those types of relationships. We have very special relationships. You probably don't feel the same way about your neighbor's child as you would feel about your child. You know, the people that are special to you probably mean more to you than the people that you don't know. That's special love. And the Course in Miracles says that's very useful to the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit has a special function here. So even though you have your one-to-one special relationships, the Course in Miracles says, you know what? Holy Spirit, higher power is saying to you, your relationship can be very useful to love. The Holy Spirit can use your special relationship and all of your special relationships. So what is your special relationship going to become? Your special relationship is going to become a happy dream. It's going to become a happy relationship. It's going to become a happy special relationship through which the Holy Spirit can spread joy to thousands on thousands. So how would you like your relationships to be used to bring joy to others? How would you like your special relationships to be used to bring happiness to thousands on thousands who believe what? He says, I can use your relationship to bring joy to thousands on thousands who believe that love is fear and not happiness. Aren't you aware that there are a lot of people who are afraid of love? When you tell them that you love them, it scares them. There are a lot of people that are afraid of love because they experienced a lot of pain through people who told them that they loved them, or people who said they loved you, made all kinds of demands on you, or it looked like they betrayed you, or it looks like they hurt you in some way. Well, the Course in Miracles says there are a lot of people who believe that love is fear and not happiness. So let the Holy Spirit do what? Let the Holy Spirit fulfill the function. What? Let the Holy Spirit fulfill the function that the Holy Spirit gave to your relationship. So how did you let the Holy Spirit fulfill the function of love and happiness in your relationship? You do that by allowing the Holy Spirit, the higher power, your inner teacher, allow your inner teacher to accept your relationship for you. Let him fulfill the function that Holy Spirit gave to your relationship by accepting it for you. So give your relationship to the Holy Spirit right now. Give that person to the Holy Spirit right now. Give that person, that situation, that circumstance to God right now. And if you would give your relationship to the higher power, if you would stop right now, even if you don't believe it, and give your relationship to the Holy Spirit, nothing will be wanting that would make of it what Holy Spirit would have it be. Your relationship will receive everything that is needed in order to let your relationship be a loving relationship that will bring joy to thousands upon thousands. If you like your relationship, your special relationships to bring joy unto thousands, then all you have to do is give your relationship to the Holy Spirit. How can you tell if you've given your relationship to the Holy Spirit? If you truly want to give your relationships to the Holy Spirit, you would study the Course in Miracles. You would learn the difference between what a holy relationship is, which is a real relationship, and a loving relationship. And you would learn the difference between how to have a truly loving relationship, and you would also learn what the characteristics of a truly unloving, fearful relationship is. And then you would apply the interpretations that the Course in Miracles gives you to your relationship, which you cannot do, if you haven't given yourself a chance to hear what the Course in Miracles is teaching. I'm going to say that over and over again because I want you to have an easy time of it. I want you to have success and having the kind of happiness that you want. And in order for us to do that, we've got to remember what we're being told. So, what did we just hear? Well, we just hear that the Holy Spirit can use your relationships, your special relationships, that your special relationships are very useful to the Holy Spirit, that your relationship can be a happy dream, that the Holy Spirit can use to spread joy and happiness to thousands upon thousands who are afraid of love and who believe that love is painful and not happiness. But you have to let the Holy Spirit fulfill the function that he gave to your relationship by letting the Holy Spirit accept your relationship for you. And if you give your relationships to God, then there will be nothing lacking in your relationships. How do you give your relationships to God? You practice the truth that God is teaching through A Course in Miracles or whatever wisdom text that you see as being your spiritual path. You stop trying to teach yourself. You resign as your own teacher, and you learn through a mind that knows more than you do. And the Course in Miracles represents the mind that knows more than you do. The Course in Miracles is Jesus correcting the teachings that he gave that have been misperceived and distorted. That's who claims to be the author of the Course, speaking through Helen Schuckman, who channeled the material. The Course in Miracles also says it doesn't matter whether you believe in Jesus or not, or whether you even believe that this came from Jesus. But if you do, that you could be helped a little bit more, because it would be easier for me to help a person who believed I existed than a person who doesn't, even though I might help the person who doesn't even know I exist. But the Course in Miracles will not make much sense to you if you're an atheist. By an atheist, I mean a person who is absolutely adamant about doing everything alone, on your own, and going just to your own ego, small self, for wisdom and guidance. The Course in Miracles teaches that an atheist is somebody who thinks that they are alone. And a martyr is somebody that believes that love demands sacrifice, that God is asking you to sacrifice. And the Course in Miracles says God isn't asking you to sacrifice. Love would never ask you to sacrifice. And you'll never do anything on your own. There's nothing you've ever done on your own. Nothing. I bet you anything. You probably didn't personally make anything that you see around you right now, including what's allowing you to listen to me. I didn't make this iPhone that I'm using to broadcast my Facebook Live. I didn't make this book at the level of the body. So, my clothes, I didn't make this top. There's not anything. I went to the grocery store today. That all the groceries were already there for me when I got there. I didn't put those groceries there, and I didn't grow that food. My point is, there's no such thing as you doing anything on your own, truly. There's really no such thing as a self-made man or a self-made woman. They don't exist. You can't do anything alone, including allowing yourself to be happy. All you can do is come up, wish for something, and then pursue it. Then wish for something else, and then pursue it. And then wish for something else, and then pursue it. That's what we do, separate from God. We wish for other things, and then we pursue it. We wish for stuff, and then we go after it. The Course in Miracles is saying you have to learn how to get out of the way. And the way you get out of the way, how do you do that? By changing your mind, allowing yourself to be taught new ways of thinking and new ways of looking at things. You don't have to make up what that new way is. That new way is in the material of A Course in Miracles. So what do when you feel the happiness and the holiness and the love of your relationship is threatened by anything? What do you do? What do you do when you feel the holiness and the happiness of your relationship is threatened by anything? The first thing you do is you stop. You instantly stop. I'm beginning to get upset. I'm in this relationship and I'm beginning to become afraid. I feel like the happiness and the love in this relationship is being threatened. He says, so what do you do when you feel the holiness of your relationship is threatened by anything? The first thing you do when you feel the holiness of your relationship is threatened by anything, the first thing you do is stop. Stop. I had a situation today that came up that I was tempted to make myself upset about. I always say it that way. It was a situation that I was tempted to make myself upset about. And in my inner voice, from having studied the course so long, my inner voice, the Holy Spirit kept saying, don't attack, don't attack, don't attack. If you're upset, shut up. If you're upset, be quiet. If you're upset, you're not seeing something correctly. If you're upset, you're not seeing something correctly. If you're upset, you're liable to say something that you'll regret you said. You know, you're upset, admit that you feel upset, admit that you don't like the way you feel right now, and then tell yourself you hope you're wrong. You hope there's another way to look at this. You don't want to be right. You want to be happy. So you want to go, I don't like the way I feel. I hope I'm wrong. I want another way to look at this. I don't like the way I feel. I hope I'm wrong. I want another way to look at this. And so the Course in Miracles then gave me the other way to look at it. I went to my Course in Miracles lesson. I went to my Course in Miracles book. I didn't go to brilliant Earl coming up with my ideas of what it is I think I need to do in order to be happy, unless I was repeating something that I know the Course in Miracles told me to tell myself. So when you feel the happiness, when you feel the holiness of your relationship is threatened by anything, first you stop instantly. And then you offer the Holy Spirit your willingness, in spite of your fear, in spite of your anger, in spite of your upset. Offer the Holy Spirit, offer higher power, offer the Holy Spirit, offer God. I'm using all these words so that everybody will know I'm talking about something other than your own ego, your own little self. Offer God, offer the Holy Spirit your willingness, in spite of your fear, to do what? To let the Holy Spirit exchange this instant that you're feeling upset and afraid for the happy, healing, loving instant that you'd rather have. I'm gonna offer this situation now. So what do? I'm feeling upset. I feel like the happiness in my relationship. Something's coming up in my relationship, and I'm not just talking about romantic relationships. I'm talking about any kind of special relationship. Whenever you feel the happiness or the love in that relationship is being threatened, instantly stop and say, I offer the Holy Spirit, I offer love, I offer God. What is it that I offer God? What is it that I offer God? What is it that I offer love? I offer love, my willingness. I offer God my willingness, in spite of my fear, in spite of my upset, in spite of my depression, in spite of whatever I'm going through. I'm going to offer the Holy Spirit. I am going to, this holy instant, I'm going to let the Holy Spirit exchange this instant that I'm upset in for the happy instant I would rather have. Please, please exchange this instant of fear and unhappiness for the happiness I'd rather have. Holy Spirit, please exchange this instant of fear for the instant of peace that I would rather have. And the Holy Spirit will never fail in this. Holy Spirit will always succeed in exchanging that instant of fear for the instant of love. But first, you have to stop instantly when you're getting upset and you're getting ready to go off and you're getting ready to put a guilt trip on yourself or somebody else to make them do whatever you want them to do because they're not doing what you want them to do, which is really the only reason why we get upset is somebody's not doing what we want them to do the way we want them to do it. And then we think our happiness depends on them doing what we want them to do the way we want them to do it. And then we use anger and guilt to try to make them do what we want them to do. That's what happens in an unholy relationship. That's what happens in a special relationship. So when you feel the happiness of your relationship and you feel that that happiness and that peace and that relationship is threatened, you're going to stop, be quiet, shut up, and you're going to go, I want to offer this to the Holy Spirit. I want to offer you to the Holy Spirit. I want to offer this situation to the Holy Spirit so that the Holy Spirit can exchange this fear and upset that I'm going through right now for the innocent, loving happy experience that I would rather have. And then, do you know the Course says, you know what? He will never fail in this. He will never fail in this. But what is it you must not forget? What is it you must not forget? You must not forget that your relationship is one. What does that mean? That means whatever threatens the peace of one person in the relationship is an equal threat to the other person in the relationship. Remember now, whatever threatens the peace of one person in the relationship threatens the peace of the other person in the relationship. It's an equal threat. If I'm in a relationship with you and I'm getting upset, then that could lead to also triggering upset in you. If I'm miserable and I'm in a relationship with you, what's threatening my peace could also be a threat to your peace. If for no other reason, then the fact that I'm upset could possibly have an impact on your peace, even if you're not upset. So always remember, what threatens the peace in one of you is an equal threat to the other. And the reason why that's true is why? Because you join with each other. That's what you did. When you enter a relationship, A Course in Miracles says, what you are doing when you enter a relationship is you are saying that I'm willing to experience the results of this person's thinking with them. That's what you're saying. If I'm in a relationship with you, however you think, I'm going to have to also experience the result of that. Just like sometimes you have to deal with the credit score of the person that you're in a relationship with could affect what you could buy the once you marry them. That's because now you've joined. So what's a threat to one is a threat to the other, but what's a benefit to one is a benefit to the other. So it's impossible. When you join in a relationship, what is the blessing of it? What is the power of it? The power of being in a relationship is that it's now impossible for you and that other person to experience fear alone. When you're in a relationship, you're not experiencing fear alone, upset alone. You're no longer experiencing anything alone. And when you are in a relationship, it's impossible for you and your partner or that other person to experience fear alone or even attempt to deal with it alone. So never believe that it's necessary for you to experience fear and upset alone, and never believe it's necessary for you to attempt to deal with the problem or the upset or the fear by yourself alone. It's not possible. Why is it not possible for you to deal with anything alone? Because you're in a relationship, which means that you have joined with someone. And you could also say, I have a relationship with God, and now I've joined with God. I have a relationship with the Holy Spirit, and so I've joined with the Holy Spirit. In my case, I like to tell myself I've now entered into a relationship with who I call the Jesus of the Course in Miracles, rather than Jesus that most people are used to hearing about. I go to the Jesus of the Course in Miracles. And so that means I don't have to experience any kind of fear or upset by myself anymore, because I have the Holy Spirit with me. I have Jesus with me of the Course. I have God with me. I have you with me. I have this book with me. I have this teaching with me. So I don't have to experience fear alone. I don't have to attempt to deal with it alone. And what is it that you must never believe? What is it that you must never believe? Never believe that it's necessary to experience fear and upset alone. And never believe that it's even possible to deal with fear alone. And yet, just as this is impossible, what is impossible? To deal with fear alone and to experience fear alone. He says, just as this is impossible, so is it equally impossible that the holy, happy, healing instant, that love come to either of you without the other. So because you're in a relationship, you no longer have to deal with fear alone. And you never have to experience fear alone. It's also impossible for you to experience love and happiness alone, which means that if you allow yourself to have the holy instant, the sane instant, the happy instant, the healing instant, it will come to you, and it will also come to the person that you're in relationship with. So the holy instant, the happy instant, the loving instant, the healing instant, when it comes to you and you're in a relationship, if it's truly the holy instant, then that happiness is going to come to both of you. It says it right here. Yet, just as this is impossible for you to experience fear alone or attempt to deal with fear alone, so is it equally impossible that the holy instant come to either of you without the other. And the holy instant, which is the loving instant, which is happiness, which is peace, which is joy. These are all sanity. These are all definitions in the Course in Miracles of holy. Know that the holy, loving happiness will come to both of you at the request of either one of you. So I'm in a relationship with you. I can ask for happiness for both of us. I can ask for peace for both of us. I can ask for a solution for both of us. I can ask for joy for both of us because we are joined. So whatever comes to me will also come to you if I'm following the Holy Spirit's teaching. So everything that I've shared with you from A Course in Miracles. So I was sharing with you the specific instructions that we were being given. So if you really want to get this and have that happiness that it promises, then your job would be to remember what I said from the book tonight. Your job would be to then apply that thought to yourself. I'm going to do a really quick recap. I went over a little bit because we got a late start because of technical difficulties. So thank you for sticking around. I'm a full-time teacher of A Course in Miracles. It's what I do. It's what I do. It's what I do in the world. And so if you like to make a financial expression of appreciation, I would truly, truly appreciate that. Thank you so much for doing that. You can just go to my website, www.earlpurdy.com. My last name is Purdy, P-U-R-D-Y. So that's www.earlpurdy.com. And you can make a donation there. But you can also use Venmo. And you can use the Cash App. And you can use PayPal. And you can use Zelle. All you need is my email. And my email address is earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. And I have hundreds and hundreds of videos on my website that you can watch for free. Hundreds of videos on YouTube, including all the workbook lessons on YouTube. Just Google my name. And also on Facebook, because I've been doing this on Facebook. So there are lots and lots and lots of classes that you can listen to freely. So thank you for sharing with me. I'm available for one-on-one personal mentoring, counseling, coaching, and advising. So those of you who would like to work with me to deal with your personal issues and get another way of looking at it using the course, as well as my knowledge of astrology and numerology, for those who are open to it, then I call that a clarity session. So come to my website, earlpurdy.com, and look under clarity sessions. And it will explain to you in detail my services. And you can self-book an appointment with me right online. And please sign up for my contact list so that I can let you know when I'm going to do online personal classes and workshops, because I'm going to take things to a deeper level going into the fall. On Sundays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time on the Earl Purdy page on Facebook, I speak in front of a live audience, and I also broadcast it here on Facebook Live. That's 1 o'clock on Sundays, Mountain Time, on the Earl Purdy page on Facebook. And then on Thursdays, which is this class here, I call it Hardcore Course in Miracles, because it's really for people who want to take advantage of my decades of working with the Course in Miracles, and you're studying it and you're reading it, and you really want to get a better understanding of what it's saying, and you want to go deeper. So I know that this particular class may not be super appealing to a universe of people, because it's very much targeted toward Course in Miracles students. So what did we hear today? What did we hear today? What did we hear today? I'm going to take a minute. I'm going to take a minute just to do a quick review. When you're really ready to be happy, you need to recognize what? You're going to have a relationship one day that's going to bring happiness to thousands upon thousands. Your relationships are going to be so loving and so sane that your relationships will allow thousands and thousands to rise to heaven, which is love with you. Don't you forget one thing, though, and I'll say it again. The Course in Miracles is saying you can't prepare yourself for such a function, but it's possible because God wills it. And that God will give you the way to achieve that joy and happiness in that loving relationship if you share the purpose of forgiveness. If your purpose is love, if your purpose is happiness, true happiness. I'm not talking about the phony stuff that we do. I'm talking about real happiness that comes from within. And your happy dreams are going to come true. Do you know they're going to come true because they're happy? And when you're truly happy, do you know what you're going to say? You're going to say, "Thy will be done, and not I want it otherwise." Thy will be done. Thy will be done. God, thy will be done. Thy will be done. Thy will be done. Thy will be done. That's what you want to say. Give your relationship to the Holy Spirit. And if you do that, there will be nothing wanting, nothing lacking in that relationship, because the Holy Spirit will provide the means. So whenever you feel the happiness and the holiness and the love in your relationship is threatened, whenever you feel like the peace and the love and the connection and the joining in any relationship, that can be with anybody, when you feel the holiness, the love, the sanity of your relationship is threatened, when you feel your relationship being threatened by anything, when you feel the holiness of your relationship is threatened by anything, what do you do? What do you do? You stop instantly. You stop instantly and offer the Holy Spirit what? Offer the Holy Spirit your willingness. Offer the Holy Spirit your willingness. In spite of your fear, in spite of your anger, in spite of your upset, offer the Holy Spirit your willingness to let the Holy Spirit exchange this instant of unhappiness and fear and threat. Would you please exchange this instant of suspicion and unhappiness and depression and whatever I'm going through? I want you to exchange this instant that I'm going through. I want you to exchange this instant for the loving one, the prosperous one, the abundant, the loving, sane instant that I would rather have. And the Holy Spirit will never fail in this. But you must remember one thing. What is it that you must remember? You must remember that your relationship is one. So what does that mean when I say all of your relationships are one? That means that what threatens the peace of one of you is an equal threat to the peace of the other. Because you are experiencing what? You are experiencing the power. You are experiencing the power of joining. And the power and the blessing of joining is that you and the other person can never ever experience fear alone. You'll never have to go through fear and sickness and upset and confusion alone anymore. You won't even have to deal with anything alone anymore. And what is it that you are supposed to never believe? Don't ever believe that it's necessary for you to deal with fear and upset and guilt and lack and sickness alone. Don't even believe it's possible for you to have to deal with things alone, without God, without love, without your brothers and sisters. But do you know it's also important to realize that it's also equally impossible that love and joy and abundance and spirit and truth come to you without also coming to the person that you are joined with in relationship. And last but not least, listen to me now, last and not least, know that love will come to both of you Happiness will come to both of you. Abundance will come to both of you at the request of either one of you. So you can ask for peace and happiness for the people that you're in relationship with. You can request that peace and happiness for them, and it will also come to you. Or for yourself, and it will also come to them. If you're doing it the way the Holy Spirit, the Course in Miracles, is telling you to do it. So listen to this over and over and over and over and over again, at least 4 times, at least 4 times. It's about remembering, it's about remembering, it's about remembering, and then using these new interpretations and perceptions that the Course in Miracles is giving you. Tell yourself these interpretations. Tell yourself these meanings that's in the book. Get in the book. Get in the book. Course in Miracles student, make a commitment to study, to read, to apply the workbook. If you want the result that it offers, you must be willing to do what it asks you to do. And you haven't learned something that you forget. You are learning what you remember. There's a connection between learning and memory. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for hanging in there with me. Those of you who really, really appreciate me, I want you to know I really, really, really appreciate you. You know, I'm so glad that I'm not doing this alone. And you're not doing this alone, right? This is proving what the Course in Miracles is saying right now, because you're not doing this alone. We have the Holy Spirit, we have Jesus, we have God. We have that the word, the truth is in this material for certain people. The Course in Miracles does not appeal to everyone. So God has many paths to God. The Creator has many paths to itself. The Course in Miracles is for a certain group of people. And you know who you are because you are actually focused in on it, studying it. You love it. You look forward to these times that we have together. And I appreciate you. I love you. And I want you to hear this. May the Course be with you. And please share this video. I'll see you soon.